Good afternoon, children. In our last video, we have completed Kingdom Protista. In today's video, we will be learning about Kingdom Fungi. The Kingdom Fungi or Mycota, it consists of constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. Heterotrophic organisms means they cannot prepare their own food. They show a great diversity in morphology and habitat, means their observable features. They're found in varieties of forms. Okay, where the observable features of the fungi are different and they are found in different places. The characteristic features of kingdom fungi are they are achlorophylous, means they do not have chlorophyll pigment. Heterotrophic, as I told you just now, that is they cannot prepare their own food and they depend on others for their food. They are spore forming. They produce the reproductive structures called the spores, which are the resting structures. When they get the favorable conditions, the spores germinate into new hyphae and mycelium. Okay, so they are spore forming, non-vesicular eukaryotic organisms. Okay, they are eukaryotic organisms, means they have well defined nucleus. Okay, well defined nucleus means they have nuclear membrane surrounding to their nucleus. Okay, then the cell wall is made up of chitin or fungal cellulose. Okay, these are the chemical substances: chitin, cellulose, this carbohydrate. Okay, so in the cell wall chitin is present or the fungal cellulose is present. Then they store food in the form of glycogen. The mode of nutrition is saprophytic. Saprophytic means they obtain their food from non-living decaying organic matter, that is bread, meat, vegetables, fruits, etc. Okay, then they are parasitic. The mode of nutrition is parasitic, means they are parasites. They live in close association with another living organisms to get food and other essential materials. Or they may be symbiotic. Okay, some fungi grow in symbiotic association with algae. Symbiosis or symbiotic association means mutual association where the two partners living together are benefited from each other. Okay, once again, both the partners which live in close association are benefited from each other. That is called symbiotic association or symbiosis, or it is called mutual association. So some fungi grow in symbiotic association with algae to form lichens. Some other forms grow in close association with the roots of higher plants and form mycorrhiza. Now, reproduction may be vegetative, like fragmentation. Okay, you have already studied fragmentation, fission, and budding, right? So, asexual mode is, that is vegetative reproduction is fragmentation, fission, or budding. Okay, now fragmentation means mycelium, the hyphae of the fungi breaks into two or more fragments, and then each fragment produces the new organism. That is called fragmentation process. Fission means first there will be nucleus division. Okay, and after the division of the nucleus there will be cytoplasmic division, which will result in either formation of two cells or many cells. And budding means a small outgrowth is produced on the body of the organism, and when the outgrowth, which is called bud, attains maturity, it gets detached from the parent body and it lives its individual life, like in yeast. You have studied this in 10th class. Okay, then asexual reproduction is also observed with the help of the reproductive structures called spores, like conidia, sporangiospores, or zoospores. Okay, conidia are produced in penicillium. They are produced by penicillium. Conidiospores are produced in albugo, phytophthora. Then zoospores are produced in albugo, saprologenia. Okay. Sporangiospores are produced in rhizopus, mucus, etc. Now, if we talk of sexual reproduction, then sexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospore, or basidiospores. See, all fungi reproduce asexually except the artificial group, that is the fungi imperfecti, which we will be learning after some time. Okay, that is Deuteromyces. The sex organs that produce gametes are called the gametangia, and the sexual reproduction in fungi occurs by oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. The various spores produced in distinct structures are called the fruiting bodies, and the sexual cycle involves 3 stages. There are 3 stages in the sexual cycle, and that stages are: number 1 is the plasmogamy. Plasmogamy is the first stage in which the cytoplasm of two sex cells come close together but do not fuse with each other. Only the protoplasm, means the living part of the cell. Okay, so only the protoplasm of both the cells fuse together, and the resulting cell is dikaryon or binucleate. The phenomenon is called dikaryotization. I hope this is clear. Plasmogamy. It is the first stage where the cytoplasm of two sex cells comes close together but do not fuse with each other. Only the protoplasm of both the cells fuse together. Okay. Now the second step is the karyogamy. It is the stage in which the two compatible nuclei fuse together, resulting into a diploid nucleus, and is called synkaryon. And the third stage is the meiosis. It is the stage in which the diploid nucleus divides. जो डिप्लॉयड न्यूक्लियस फॉर्म हुआ है बाय कैरियोगेमी, इट डिवाइड्स, resulting in the formation of haploid nucleus, which is meiosis is the reductional division. Right? Now, if we study about the classification of fungi, then kingdom fungi can be divided into various classes on the basis of morphology of mycelium, means the group of hyphae, mode of spore formation, and the fruiting bodies. And on the basis of that, the first class is the Phycomycetes. The members of Phycomycetes are found in aquatic habitat and on decaying wood, in moist and damp places, or as obligate parasites on plant. Obligate means compulsorily they require a specific plant, right? अगर वो कोई plant नहीं होगा तो वो survive नहीं कर पाएंगे. So that are called obligate parasites, right? Now the other feature is the mycelium is aseptate or cenocytic. Aseptate का मीनिंग क्या है? एसेप्टेट का मीनिंग है कि जो हाइफे है उसके अंदर जो क्रॉस वॉल्स होंगे या फिर सेप्टा होंगे, सेप्टा जो होते हैं दैट आर नॉट फॉर्म्ड एट द टाइम ऑफ न्यूक्लियर डिविजन. Such hyphae are multinucleate as there are no cross walls. Okay, if a mycelium contains a septate and multinucleate hyphae, and then it is called cenocytic hyphae. ठीक है, let me explain you by drawing the diagram. Suppose this is the hyphae, right? This is one hyphae. So क्रॉस वॉल्स ऐसे होती है जिसकी वजह से क्या होगा, वो सेल्स डिवाइड होंगे या फिर ये जो पूरा हाइफे है वो डिवाइड होगा. पर एसेप्टेट का मीनिंग क्या है, ये क्रॉस वॉल्स जो बीच में है वो नहीं होंगे, मीन्स हाइफे ऐसा होगा. उसकी वजह से क्या होगा, यहाँ पे जो न्यूक्लियस है, ओके, हियर इफ़ यू सी इट इज़ divided into different cells, but as there are no cross walls like this in this second type, the hyphae is multinucleate, means एक ही hyphae में बहुत सारे न्यूक्लियाई है. ठीक है, I hope this is clear. Then asexual reproduction occurs by the zoospores. Third feature is asexual reproduction occurs by the zoospores, which are motile, or aplanospores, which are non-motile spores. Okay, zoospores are motile, as I told you, so they may be uniflagellate. Uni means one, flagellate means they have one flagella, or biflagellate means they may have two flagella. Okay, and this flagella may be anterior, or it may be lateral, or it may be posterior. ठीक है, एंटीरियर का मतलब क्या, सपोज ये एक है सेल, ठीक है, ये जूस्पोर है, तो या तो फिर उसके एंटीरियर पार्ट में होगा, या तो फिर पोस्टीरियर पार्ट पे ही सिर्फ होगा, या फिर लेटरल साइड पे होंगे फ्लैजेला. क्लियर? Now, so zoospores are the motile spores and aplanospores are the non-motile spores. Examples are mucus, rhizopus, albugo, etc. Okay, now this diagram, this flow chart shows the classes of fungi. Fungi is further divided into phycomycetes, then ascomycetes, basidiomycetes and deuteromycetes. Okay, about phycomycetes we have just now learned. Moving to the second class, that is ascomycetes. The members of ascomycetes are commonly called as sac fungi. They are mostly multicellular. Multi means many. So they are made up of many cells like penicillium, and rarely unicellular, means they are made up of only single cell. Example yeast. ठीक है, मल्टीसेल्यूलर का एक एग्जाम्पल मैं दे रही हूँ, वो क्या है, पेनिसिलियम. एंड रेयरली दे आर यूनिसेल्यूलर, दैट इज एग्जाम्पल इज yeast. Then some of the common features of ascomycetes are, they are saprophytic. As I've already told you, saprophytic or saprotrophic means they feed on dead and decaying matter. Decomposers, they help in breaking down of organic waste into very simpler form, and they feed on that organic matter. Parasitic means they live on the other living host. Okay, then coprophilous means they grow on dung. Okay, you will be finding, if you might have seen somewhere, okay, cow dung है तो उसके ऊपर ये क्या बोलेंगे, मशरूम जैसा स्ट्रक्चर ग्रो होता है. इट इज़ नॉट एग्जैक्टली मशरूम, बट उसका देखोगे तो क्या होगा, उसके ऊपर एक ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्म होगा, ऐसा, राइट. सो सैक फंजाई आर प्रोड्यूस्ड ऑन द cow dung or on the dung. Such organisms are coprophilous. right? Then mycelium are branched, ये R है हाँ, mycelium are branched and septate. ओके, सेप्टेट का मीनिंग क्या है? क्रॉस वॉल्स प्रेजेंट है. ए सेप्टेट का मीनिंग क्रॉस वॉल्स एब्सेंट होते हैं, नहीं होते हैं. एंड सेप्टेट का मीनिंग है क्रॉस वॉल्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं. द asexual spores are conidia, which are produced exogenously on the spatial mycelium called conidiophore. ठीक है, अभी एक्सोजीनियसली, एक्सो मीन्स आउटसाइड. ठीक है, तो ये कोनीडिया कहाँ पर प्रोड्यूस होते हैं? एक स्पेशल माइसेलियम के ऊपर, जिसको कहते हैं कोनीडियोफोर. और ये बाहर होते हैं, अंदर नहीं. कोनीडियोफोर के अंदर नहीं, कोनीडियोफोर के सरफेस पे प्रोड्यूस होते हैं. सो इट इज़ कॉल्ड एक्सोजीनियस स्पोर्स. ओके, कोनीडिया in turn on germination produces the new mycelium. Then sexual spores are called ascospores, which are endogenously produced in the sac-like structure called asci. Okay, that is inside the asci are arranged in different types of fruiting bodies, which are called the ascocarps. And each ascus bears 4 to 8 ascospores, sometimes numerous also. आई होप दिस इज़ क्लियर. सेक्शुअल स्पोर्स जो होते हैं उनको कहेंगे एस्कोस्पोर्स. एस्कोस्पोर्स एंडोजीनियसली प्रोड्यूस होते हैं, मीन्स अंदर. तो किसके अंदर? सैक लाइक स्ट्रक्चर, जिसको कहेंगे एस्की, ASCI, एस्की. And this asci are arranged in different types of fruiting bodies, and that fruiting bodies are called ascocarps. Clear? Sexual reproduction occurs by gametangial contact, resulting in the formation of oospores. Some of the examples of ascomycetes are Neurospora, Aspergillus, Claviceps, Penicillium, yeast, etc. Neurospora is used extensively in biochemical and genetic work. जो भी genetic work होता है, genetics के related, वो सारे कामों में ये Neurospora use होता है. Moving to the next class. The next class is Basidiomycetes. These are called the club fungi. These are terrestrial, saprotrophic and parasitic forms. Okay, now I think there is no need of explaining what is saprotrophic, parasitic. Okay, because I have been explaining this since long. ठीक है, तो Basidiomycetes क्या है? They are terrestrial, saprotrophic and parasitic forms, which are also called the club fungi. And many of them attack trees. Few species from the mycorrhizal association. mycorrhiza अभी मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले यही वीडियो में एक्सप्लेन किया है. ओके, द mycelium is branched and septate. अगेन सेप्टेट का मीनिंग है mycelium के अंदर क्या होता है? क्रॉस वॉल्स प्रेजेंट होती है. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. Asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction, it occurs by the fragmentation process, as I told you just now. Then sexual reproduction is by two vegetative or somatic cells forming basidium. ठीक है, तो जो सेक्स ऑर्गन्स क्या है वो एब्सेंट होते हैं. बट प्लाज्मोगैमी, once again I am repeating, it is the first stage in which the cytoplasm of two sex cells come close together but do not fuse with each other. Only the protoplasm fuses. Okay, so plasmogamy occurs by the fusion of two vegetative or the somatic cells of different genotypes, means उनका genotype same नहीं है. Okay, जेनेटिक कॉम्बिनेशन जो है वो सेम नहीं है, अलग अलग स्ट्रेन्स के हैं. The resultant structure is a dikaryon which ultimately gives rise to a basidium, right? Then basidiospores are found in basidium by developing a fruiting body called basidiocarps. Examples of Basidiomyces are Agaricus, Ustilego, Puccinia, etc. Moving to the last class of kingdom fungi, that is Deuteromyces. These are commonly called the imperfect fungi because only the asexual or vegetative phases of this fungi are known. These are mostly terrestrial. Only few of them are aquatic, like Tricladium, Pyricularia, etc. Let us study the characteristics of Deuteromyces. Mycelium is septate and branched. Some members are saprophytes or parasites. Asexual reproduction occurs by the formation of conidia or sometimes by ooidia and chlamydospores. Sexual reproduction is not certain. Mycelium structure and conidia indicate the most of the Deuteromyces belong to Ascomyces whose sexual reproduction is not known. Examples of Deuteromyces are Alternaria, Trichoderma, Coletotrichu, Alternaria, Fusarium, etc. Now, Kingdom Plente. Kingdom Plente includes all eukaryotic means they have well-defined nucleus, chlorophyll containing organisms. Chlorophyll, the green color pigment. Okay. Some of these members are partially heterotrophic, such as insectivorous plants or parasites. For example, Venus flytrap and bladderwort are insectivorous plants. Cuscuta is a parasite. Cuscuta means the amarbale. Okay, so that is parasite. It requires another living host on which it can grow. So it is a parasite. The cell has an eukaryotic type structure with prominent chloroplast and cell wall containing cellulose. Further, the kingdom includes different classes like algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, about which we will be learning in next chapter. Life cycle is divided into diploid saprophytic and haploid gametophytic, which alternate with each other. Okay, diploid saprophytic stage is there and haploid gametophytic stage is also there, right? So that is alternation of generation, means in one life cycle only there is diploid phase, saprophytic phase, and in the same life cycle the another phase is haploid gametophytic. In this phase the spores are produced and in this phase gametes are produced. Okay, so there is alternation of generation. Moving to the last kingdom, that is kingdom Animalia. Animal kingdom contains heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular and their cells lack cell wall. ये भी 8th स्टैंडर्ड में पढ़ चुके हो, प्लांट सेल और एनिमल सेल का डिफरेंस उसमें पढ़ा था. प्लांट सेल हैव सेल वॉल, एनिमल सेल्स डू नॉट हैव सेल वॉल. ठीक है, तो एनिमल किंगडम में क्या है, ऑर्गेनिजम्स है जो हेट्रोट्रॉफिक है, खुद का खाना खुद नहीं बना सकती. दे डिपेंड ऑन अदर्स फॉर देयर फूड. यूकैरियोटिक मीन्स दे हैव वेल डिफाइंड न्यूक्लियस and they are multicellular, means made up of many cells, and their cells lack the cell walls. The cells do not have cell walls. The main source of food for animal kingdom are plants, directly or indirectly. The food is digested in alimentary canal and is reserved as glycogen or fat. The mode of nutrition is holozoic, that is, they ingest the food. After ingestion of the food, they digest the food. Digestion होने के बाद absorption होता है, फिर assimilation होता है, and finally egestion of the waste material takes place. Then sexual reproduction is by copulation, means by mating between male and female followed by embryonic development. ठीक है, जब मेल और फीमेल गैमेट फ्यूज़ होता है उसके बाद एक नया स्ट्रक्चर बनता है जिसको कहते हैं जाइगोट. जाइगोट का भी फिर फर्दर डिवीजन होता है, डेवलपमेंट होता है और फिर एम्ब्रियो बनता है. वो एम्ब्रियो का डेवलपमेंट होके फुल्ली डेवलप्ड fetus is being produced. Okay. Then the details of this kingdom we will be discussing in chapter number 4. Now, viruses, videoids and lichens. 5 kingdom classification of R.H. Whittaker has not classified viruses, videoids and lichens in any group. Lichens are the symbiotic association between algae and fungi. The viruses did not find a place in any classification system since they are not truly living, as living organisms are those that have cellular structure. The viruses are non-cellular organisms that are categorized by having an inert crystalline structure outside the living cell. An inert virus outside the cell is called virion. These are obligate parasites. As I told you earlier, obligate means compulsorily उनको एक host चाहिए, living host. अगर living host नहीं मिलता है तो they are non-living organisms. Okay. They do not have any biosynthetic machinery, means वो खुद का कुछ भी प्रोसेस कर सके ऐसा कोई भी मशीनरी उनकी सेल्स में नहीं होता है, उनके अंदर नहीं होता है. Once they infect a living host cell, they take over the machinery of the host cell and then replicate themselves, killing the host. Now, there are certain discoveries related to virus. The name virus was given by Pasteur, which means venom or poisonous fluid. D.J. Ivanovsky recognized certain microbes as causative organism of mosaic disease of tobacco. Then M.W. Bajering demonstrated that the extract of the infected plant of tobacco, the plant which was infected by the viruses, could cause infection in healthy plant. That was being observed by Bajering. He called the fluid as contagium vivum fluidum, means infectious living fluid. Then W.M. Stanley showed that viruses could be crystallized, and crystals consist largely of proteins. Viruses are ultra microscopic. Size of viruses ranges from about 10 nanometer to 1250 into 40 nanometer. Tobacco mosaic virus is the example. Then viruses, as I told you, it contains protein. So in addition to proteins, viruses also contain genetic material that could be either DNA or RNA. In general, viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA, and viruses that infect the animals have double-stranded DNA. Some common diseases caused by viruses are common cold, influenza, AIDS, smallpox, leaf rolling, and curling. Bacteria feeding viruses are called bacteriophages. There are certain viruses which infect even bacteria that are called bacteriophages. Okay, then Videoids and prions belong to this category. T.O. Diener discovered a new infectious agent that was smaller than viruses and caused potato spindle tuber disease. Varioids are small circular RNAs similar to viruses but are located inside the protein coat of a true virus. Okay. Varioids are free RNAs devoid of nucleoprotein coat. The RNA has low molecular weight and is tightly folded into circular or linear single-stranded structure, while prions are obligate parasites made of glycoproteins only. Then talking about lichens. Lichens are the symbiotic association between algae and fungi. The algal part or partner is called phycobiont and fungal partner is called mycobiont. They are good pollution indicator as they do not grow in polluted areas. Okay, so lichens are the pollution indicators. Why? Because if we if we want to know whether the area is polluted or not, then we can use lichens. We should grow the lichens. If the lichens do not grow, then we say that the area is polluted, and if it grows, then we can say that the area is not polluted. So children, that is all for today's class, and with this we have completed the second chapter. In our next video we will be starting with the new chapter. I hope this is clear to everyone. Thank you.